that. Just got some deliveries.
No, you're good. You're good.
Working on stuff right now.
We'll wait for a few
Ooh, it's
people.
going to be exciting. Wanted to be in this for a minute. Turn off that. Block out the noise. How's it going? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Tired. Just got off of work.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Well, we
Uh,
got a couple people in here. Maybe a few more join in, but I'll start with the first question here. So, well, there's a lot of new people on here. I started. I can't even remember. I'd have to look. But when did you start your pig fit, and when did you start making it?
I believe I started, if I remember this correctly, it's been a minute since I paid attention to it. I started around like midway through this year.
Mm-hmm. I think I started
And
around
like midway through this year, early this year. And I think I started making stuff like a month after that.
a month after. All right.
Yeah.
So you took a month. What'd you do for that month to get ready to post and stuff?
I just kind of thought about how I want to play stuff out, how I want to, how is this going to get over? Is this going to get over? Like with my Fed, there's certain people that you usually wouldn't see near the big picture in a company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, one of the guys I push who I think is extremely underrated is Bobby Fish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm trying
But,
to do with my other brand, but we'll see how that turns out. But
yeah. But you look at somebody like Fish and you think, hey, Undisputed Era, or maybe Red Dragon if they're old school.
yeah. That's probably what I'm going to use him for in this one, to be honest. But yeah, it's great to use guys that are not normally in the top of the card.
Or like
Cool.
Frankie Kazarian. I have him as my United States champion.
Yeah. I'm kind of having him in a little push over in my developmental brand, but might
Actually,
go
I know
down a
it's a
little
song.
bit
I know
soon.
that brand will.
All right, so you just mentioned Frankie as one of your champions. Who are all your current champions in your Fed right now?
So the current TW champion is Mox.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some Moxley. I can't get enough of that. The current TNT champion is Elias.
Elias.
The current world heavyweight champion is Jeff Hardy. The current intercontinental champion is Shawn Michaels. The current TAW champion, which is like, the FTW title?
Yeah.
It's kind of like my version of the FTW title. It's totally awesome wrestler. It's a stupid little pun for it. It's a developmental sort of title.
Yeah.
Give
like
a character something to do. I already said United States champion was Frankie Kazarian. I got a lot of titles.
Yeah.
Tag titles are currently held by, not Fish, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh God, I just dropped that. Sorry, I'm putting together an authentic scale ring at the moment.
Sweet, man, sweet.
But I believe that, cruiserweight champion is Eric Young.
Eric Young is a cruiserweight. All right.
Yeah, well, the thing I have with that is, so originally it was Rey Mysterio, Rey's the first, Rey's the inaugural. But I had Eric take him out because he's working for a group I currently have going on right now that are the biggest heels.
All right.
So, that's a whole ordeal to work around.
So, to go off that, what are some of your rivalries right now that are going on right now? Your best rivalry, you think?
Moxley and Brody Lee is probably going to be my best.
Who and Brody Lee?
Moxley,
Brody Lee. All right.
I have the Royal Flush fight, which Brody partially won. The first ever Royal Flush fight ended in a tie. And it was with Brody Lee and Kurt Angle both going over the top. Which the Royal Flush fight is my Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing that soon at my next pay-per-view, but I'm not doing a men's one just yet because,
I love it. My only thing is, it is such a pain to film.
right, I'm gonna
You got to go through all those entrances.
yeah, it's gonna be hard to like time it. Like they come in every 90 seconds. You're gonna have to take a certain amount of pictures, and I don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna have it random, not have it timed. But yeah, that sounds great.
Sorry, that's my boy. Continue.
All right, so Brody Lee and John Moxley is your biggest feud. Is that going on still, or
That's currently going on. The next Royal Flush Fight pay-per-view is already about to happen. And between the two, Kurt hasn't cashed in his opportunity yet. He has a world title opportunity or, heavyweight title opportunity as well. He hasn't cashed his in yet. Brody is cashing his in at the Royal Flush Fight. And I'd say other than that, the biggest feud I probably have going on is Hangman and Malachi.
Hangman Malachi? Yeah, I need to get him in my fed.
Malachi or Hangman?
Hangman, I don't have him on the roster yet.
Yeah, I saw I forget which creator wrestler he used him for, but I saw he's you got the promo attire figure.
Yeah, that's got it from a guy from Facebook. He's CWF, I believe. That was his former GM, and he recently posted about him getting fired. And I messaged him, asked if I could use that guy in my upcoming Horizon Fed. He said it was all right, so I thought it would be a fun idea because I didn't have any other use for that Chris Jericho figure. It's just going to sit around, so that was
more of a nostalgia piece.
Yeah.
I got you. That's kind of what I have with certain figures. Like, I think my biggest nostalgia piece is I have a Stunning Steve sitting around here.
Yeah, that's just
Hollywood Blonde.
Yeah, I try to just use modern people, but it'd be cool to use like an Eddie or something, but I kind of want to make it somewhat realistic and not bring in a guy that's not alive. So
Yeah. See, I'm not necessarily realistic. I just try to be as original as humanly possible. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
See what can set me apart from the rest.
Exactly. So you talked about an upcoming pay-per-view. What are some of your other pay-per-views and shows that you have?
I'm doing one called Breaking Bad coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It will be WrestleFest is the big pay-per-view. The big selling point.
WrestleFest.
That's the best name I can come up with, at least.
Yeah, I still
I'll
got
probably work on something down the line, but I have a WrestleMania pay-per-view where we'll sort of have this big match feel. The biggest thing I can say when it comes to pay-per-views is people shouldn't expect a gigantic entrance stage and stuff like that out of me. I only have so much room I'm about to be able to show you here in a minute. I'm working on top of a dresser.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to see every time I have this. My God.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I've been getting set up. I had this authentic scale ring when I was a little bit younger, and it broke, and I haven't had the money for a long time. I finally just got it fixed.
Oh wow, that sucks.
I'm not even done putting it together, but here we go. I just got 4 of the recent pickups in there, because why not?
Oh yeah, I've seen that Cody a million times at my Walmart. I'm tempted to get it, but I'm like, I already got the other one. So
Yeah. There's the new post I had to order, which is sadly not the same color as the rest of them.
Huh.
But you know what? Hey, it's fixed. I'll take what I can get.
Right.
The rest of the setup here.
You guys set up for Christmas, I'm guessing.
Yep. Have enough for the entire month. And then there's certain parts I just kind of have like back here.
Yeah.
Something that may be of use to me.
It's not horrible.
I'll probably set this up and grab other stuff.
At least you got a ring. I know some people that don't even have a ring yet. So
yeah, I used to wear it. When I've been working on the smaller AEW ring,
Mm-hmm.
You know, the normal size one.
Yeah, that's what I'm using for my other show.
Yeah, the smaller one. What do you call
Yeah,
it?
I can show you my other arena here. This is my backstage area turned into my developmental arena.
Really
But
is small budget.
yeah, but this is my setup here. I got a whole ping pong table I found on Facebook for $10, so that
Yeah.
was a steal. Even though I had to drive an hour or so. But yeah,
I also every once in a while I'll throw in like some Jax people if I don't have elites or Mattels of them.
right,
And here's one I particularly use. If I could get them to stand properly.
right.
Yeah, they're old and beat up. But I could see 'em.
Yeah,
World's
I don't like.
greatest there.
Hmm.
About to take on O'Reilly at the Royal Flush Fight pay-per-view. I think
And
I got most of that match card planned out by this point. I don't know. My planning is wild. I go into some territories with that.
yeah, well, if you want to go into that, that's one of the questions I was going to ask later on. Is how do you plan your stuff out, and what's the steps that you go through?
I think I just genuinely go off of what I feel like doing. Like I know that sounds really basic, but it's the key that I love with this is it's your company. You know, do what you want to do with it. Don't really care what everybody else thinks. Don't think about if this has to get over. That's what I thought about at one point, and then I was just like, screw it. This is what's going to help me, stand out. Like I don't think a lot of people are really booking. Elias even isn't a common name.
Yeah,
To see sort of substantial standing. Eric Young isn't necessarily a common name to see where he in a company's list of people.
yeah,
Or the way it looks like I'm somebody who is not a massive fan of Kenny Omega or Roman Reigns. I don't hate them. I don't hate either of them. But
mm-hmm.
they're extremely overrated in my opinion. So I don't have them super high up on my list. Other people I have high up on my list, like Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, the world's greatest tag team. John Moxley is obviously my boy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of the way my planning works. It's just whatever I think I would want to continue with this story, or however I would, fit with or if I can ever come back and play off of this and just work into stuff that will honestly also help me like take a load off in terms of work because it does take a lot in order to build some of the stories I'm working.
Right, yeah.
Here's John. Let me get him in a better view here. I don't plan on getting the AEW figure ever. And for a while here, I had this really crappy the Edge WrestleMania Elite. That was just such a bad figure. So here's my John.
Oh wow. Did you say that you didn't like the AW one?
I think just my biggest thing is I've heard there was a lot of height issues, and I don't want to go through the time and have to fix that.
Yeah, he is pretty flipping tall. See, it's like even though John's, I think he's like 6'5", ain't he though? But still,
Yeah.
I'm having issues with this one. Like I had to put it off a different body. You can kind of tell the skin tone's off, but the head's so wobbly. That's my issue with him right now. But
Yeah.
I like.
And then I think it comes with also just who I love, who are some of my favorites currently of all time, or who are the not big favorites that maybe even though I don't like them, maybe I'll push them every once in a while, or maybe I'll give them something to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't care for, and I know you were just talking about this. This is where I think I'm kind of separate. I have Bam Bam Bigelow in my fit.
Uh-huh.
And I have him as, since we can all agree, the one thing with the Undisputed Era is they are very tiny people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look legitimate. So I put Bam Bam Bigelow in with the Undisputed Era because, hey, there's your big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got this thing going on with the bloodline right now. Like, I don't necessarily hate Roman. Like I said, I just don't love where he's booked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like extremely long titles that are over the
Yeah.
top, basically squash everybody that needed. One guy's massive foot.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right in real for real life, but for pig fetting, it's just not entertaining. It's just
Oh,
not.
that's why I couldn't watch GCW when he had Kenny Omega as champion for 3 years.
Who had Kenny Omega as champion for 3 years?
GCW, I believe, G Natty.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, it was like going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Literally could not be beaten. Here's another guy I plan on booking to the maximum.
Oh
Gosh dang
yeah.
it.
I'd love to get that figure sometime.
The one thing I will say is don't underestimate like the head scan itself. The head scan is honestly, I would say, fairly accurate
Yeah.
to that Russian madman sort of look he goes for on a weekly basis. But it
Yeah.
could definitely be better.
Yeah. All right. We'll get into some more questions here. Um, People watching, hopefully you guys get some questions. You can put them in the question thing here so we can look at them at the end. But I want to get some of your top 5 or top whatever list of your. Let's start off with your top 5 pick feds right now.
MEW until he just announced that he's almost done.
Right?
MEW was up there. Underdog Figure Artist has a Fed. He just needs to put the name more because it's easy to forget. So Underdog Figure Artist is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
AOPW is great. AOPW is some top tier storytelling and some top tier work. And he does the same thing I do. There are certain guys that would be, no longer booked now, but he books and he really gives attention to. Like nobody really pays attention to Ricochet anymore as a top name.
Yeah.
You just got done not too long ago having him as world champion.
Right. I'm
That,
having some
that's
issues with
that's one of
that
the things
too.
I love. But I think another name I can probably throw up there. I don't know if I want to put him as top 5. WGW.
WGW, yeah.
He's
I
good,
had,
but my one thing with WGW is posing. You gotta work on it.
yeah. He's still pretty young. I think. You mean World's Greatest Wrestling, correct? Or is there a different WGW?
I'm talking about the extreme guy.
The Extreme guy? That might still
He's
be him.
wrestling.
I think I had him a few weeks ago. He's my second guest. I don't remember. But yeah. He's pretty
And then
decent.
it's probably my number one.
Who's your number one?
EWF, Elite Figures Wrestling, or Elite Wrestling Figures, I
Oh
believe.
yeah. Yeah, he's great.
It's
I
my
tried
favorite.
messaging him. I want to get him on the show someday, but he never replied, so
He's
but
a super busy guy. That dude is working around the clock nonstop. I talk to him rarely.
right.
Because, like I said, he's busy all the time, nonstop.
Well, when you're putting out that kind of content, that top tier level stuff, you gotta be busy. Just
Okay, that's
right
his
where we
thing.
are is
I think
busy.
it's it. He puts so much attention to detail.
Uh-huh.
You can't not notice it. Here's a custom I'm working on. Why not?
Oh, good call. Sweet.
Custom Gulak. Working on it. I gotta acetone the Tully Blanchard logo on the side.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, those are my 5. I think EWF would probably be my number one. Like I said, that's just not it. I don't think anybody, at least anybody that's on Instagram alone, can really match the stuff he's putting out on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and even his stop motion's really top of the line too.
I
If you've
feel
ever
like
seen his YouTube.
Is pick fed stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of smaller people out there like you and me. We're not up there in the thousands and thousands of subscribers and followers, but
Oh, heck no.
so I'm sure you follow some, but who are some of your underrated pig feeders right now that you would say are way better than what their follower count says?
Underdog's figure artist is probably again up there. He's not really well known yet.
Yeah,
If it is, it's not for the pick fetting. It's just for him being a human being.
yeah, right.
Um, Trying to think. I don't know a whole lot that are like super small, but I talked to them that I don't think I can really rank because there are some people who are small that follow me that I know why they're like farther down the list
Right. Yeah, yeah,
because there's like zero effort into any of it.
yeah. The ones that there's two guys that might be in this chat here that be sending me stuff all the time, and I try to be nice, but it gets really annoying. But it is what it is. But they're not that great yet. They're probably like not even in middle school yet.
I'll
But
always ask for like the biggest thing I do is I always go around. I ask for people I talk to on the regular tips and opinions. I've
yeah,
spoken to WF once. He gave me a lot of advice. I got the rare chance to speak to the big dog of them all, W3A.
wow.
Yeah, that was like, geez, that was a one in a million shot. And anything else I've ever sent him, he does not answer. So I just leave him alone. um, FWF is one I've talked to. The underdog figure artist, though, out of that question, I think would probably have to be the big name that deserves better because he does some phenomenal matches and he does some really good storytelling. Not all I like. I think as a whole, it's good. It's at least on a consistent basis, and there's no holes within or not within his level of quality.
Yeah,
He even makes, so if he can make and use his own customs, good on him.
right. I think I've seen some of his customs. I think that's what he's most known for is his custom work.
Yeah, I think he just got done making an all-out punk.
Yeah, those are crazy. I could my customs aren't even close to his, but
You see my gulag, that's the extent I go to.
right, just a few head swaps and acetones, and that's
Maybe a
about
boot
all I
swap, if a boot and arm swap if we're feeling frisky.
right. So I've not had a lot of people answer this one very well, but there's some big names out there, and they just don't really fit. You just don't think they're that good. Their posing's not as great as it should be. Um, they got a bunch of followers, but you just don't think they're good. So, what are some of your most overrated pick feds if you want to answer that?
I still love him, but NLW, dude. Number one.
All right. And I live in LW too.
It's extremely just too fast-paced for me in order to be able to pay attention.
Yeah.
And you can hardly tell what's going on in the match because everything is so like, boom, this happened. Boom, this happened. Like, what's going on?
I thought I thought his 60-minute match was really, or was it 30 minutes? He had an Iron Man match and it was really impressive. I could never figure out how to do literally an hour-long match, 30-minute match. I think the longest I've ever done was 27 minutes, and it's just
That's a lot to do.
yes.
LPW tried to do one, and then he immediately was just like, okay, cutting the highlights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
That's
don't
what
think
I
I'll
meant.
ever do one of those.
I'm moving to YouTube. This is the big announcement, I guess, I'll make while I'm on here. I'm moving to YouTube here soon
Oh wow.
to where it will start becoming pay-per-views are on there and normal shows are on here.
Hmm. That's something I thought about too, but I just don't have the amount of followers on YouTube to get my pay-per-views a lot of views, so I didn't. My first pay-per-view I wasn't on Instagram yet, so I don't know how I'm going to do the Instagram part. I might just keep it Facebook, YouTube exclusive pay-per-views, because Instagram you can't post, like, you can only post 10-minute videos for some stupid ass reason all of a sudden. But
Oh
my
yeah, you
first,
could put up the results. It would be like, just kind of like closing moments.
yeah, I
Nothing
used to
really.
do those. I used to do those every other week. Results from my last resurgence, but I replaced that with my Horizon Pig Fed show.
Yeah.
I only, I really only did that because someone said I wasn't a true pig fedder because I was doing stop motion. So I decided, hell, I'll do an easy pose, a few moves, pig fed, and
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say though. Like, why?
right.
You don't need to sit there and try to belittle anybody. At least I believe.
Especially when I'm
Criticism and belittling are two very different things, and I believe one of the two you absolutely should not do, because that's what's slowly helping kill this community.
hmm But I mean,
Because
I'm
they're
putting in extra work to do stop motion, so I don't know how being not a pig fedder, but whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. But all right. We'll get into some non-pick fed questions here. What are some of your favorite matches of all time in wrestling? Any company, anything really?
number
Anytime.
one is the duo matches of Shawn and Taker.
The Sean Taker ones, yeah. I can
Nothing
watch
has
those.
surpassed that.
Right. I mean the first match, the second match, and then the matches with Triple H. That just was a trilogy there. No, I don't. I thought it was four matches maybe, but that yeah, four matches. Two with
Yeah,
Sean, two with
he went back to back with Hunter. I don't remember for
Hunter.
sure.
I thought he went with Hunter. He couldn't walk back on his own, and then he challenged Hunter again in a Hell in a
Yeah,
Cell, I
but I
think.
think that was directly after Shawn. I don't know still, but those matches, I get what you're talking about. Those matches
Yeah,
are great.
it's just
Shawn
great
is also
story.
probably up there.
Yeah,
Eddie versus Lesnar.
at WrestleMania.
Is that the one where he beat Brock for the undisputed title?
I thought so.
I thought that was Unforgiven or like Hell in a Cell. No, I'm Hell in a Cell. I'm stupid.
I thought he
Um,
won at Mania. I don't know.
I know he won at Mania. I do remember that, but I don't think it was off of Brock.
It wasn't off of Brock.
Yeah, I don't think that was a Brock win. It was a Brock win that or something.
Who did he beat then?
Uh, good question.
I know Chris Benoit won the world title that night too, didn't he?
I think Eddie already had the undisputed title.
I mean, that sounds more right. Maybe
Because
just
I know I'm thinking of
defended.
the picture of Benoit and Eddie.
Hmm.
I think that's what you're thinking of. Sorry, I'm setting up everybody who probably has like a prominent role in here.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So there's a lot of companies of all time. There's WCW, WWE, AEW, all these little tiny ones like Impact and all that, New Japan. What's your favorite company of all time?
That's a tough one because I kind of have two. I'd say Prime TNA,
Prime.
which was a little after the reign of terror of Jeff Jarrett,
Mm-hmm.
and then ECW.
ECW.
And it's weird because people, like, the reason I love ECW is the same reason I hate GCW. Because hardcore wrestling has gone to such crap.
Yeah.
It's not even people who know how to do their job anymore. Not a lot of those names can wrestle. And the people who can wrestle in GCW already worked for big name companies who taught them how to wrestle.
Right.
Like Matt Cardona, John Moxley.
Yeah. I do like Nick Gage, but That's just his character work, I think. I don't even think he's that good of a wrestler. He's just deathmatch
Gage
king.
is to me. Gage is the biggest moron of them all, actually. And then, and because I got this whole argument, somebody tried to compare to ECW. I'm like, no, everybody in ECW knew how to work.
Yeah.
There were more botches, sure, but everybody at least knew how to do their job.
Exactly.
Even Sandman. And Sandman didn't even hardly like wrestle.
Alrighty. Favorite show. There's a lot of like Raw, NXT, SmackDown. What's your favorite show right now? And then you can just name your favorite show that of all time is if it's one of the TNA shows. I don't remember what they were called back then.
Ron NXT was amazing. I don't think you could surpass that. But if I had to pick anything else, 2016 SmackDown was my year because that's when my boy won the WWE title for the only time. I was so pleased when I saw Dean catch it. And see him finally on the floor. He deserved it for so long. That's another thing I don't like with Rhodes. While Rhodes was put down our throats and nobody liked dealing with him, we had Dean sitting there busting his butt day in, day out, giving us the best possible view we could get. He was one of the last names who elevated the Intercontinental Championship. Like, he was a part of that last good run, and ever since then, we haven't had a real. It feels like we haven't had a real baby face. A real big. Dean was somebody you could completely get behind. He was an amazing face. He's a terrible heel, but he was an amazing face.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least he was booked terribly as a heel, I should say. That's probably better.
That's probably right. I mean, they could do Cody that way. He could be an amazing face once he returns.
Sorry, I'm still setting up. I am listening to something, of course.
No, you're good. You're good. So there's a lot of moments in wrestling. One that comes off my head: the Cody Rhodes return. Now I can't think of any. But what's your favorite moments in wrestling history? If it's the Hogan Slam on Andre, which is a horrible, horrible match. I could have wrestled a better match than that, but still, that's a big moment.
It's a horrible match, but it's not a nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The moment, just not the. Doesn't have to be great. Just a big moment.
Guys, the face. Enjoy that. Biggest moments, probably Rock and Austin's final match.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn Michaels retires. Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, of course.
Uh-huh.
The first AEW event, honestly. I have adored AEW ever since they hired Moxley. And they did actually the absolute world, which I was like, thank God AEW knows how to do it because clearly WWE did not. Moxley at best was like a mid-carder there. And they booked another guy. The untapped potential Luke Harper had as a wrestler, or Brody Lee, whatever you want to call him, was something that I don't think can ever be touched a second time, and it's sad. But I think like the first AEW event, Elix Skipper's insane cage moment in TNA. I think he owns that. Trying to think of other ones. The boyhood dream, Shawn Michaels beating Bret Hart, winning his first championship of actual caliber. And I think those are probably my biggest moments that live on in my head. And, of course, Moxley winning the AEW title for the first time. I think those are probably my biggest. I don't know if I can hear you. Not you there?
Nope, I was muted. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Just making sure I have connection.
yeah, you're good. You're good. Sorry. I muted myself to yell at the dogs, but yeah. But it seems like I can kind of guess one of your favorite wrestlers. It's John Moxley.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
he's my favorite.
you've named a few other guys you liked, but can you just give them off one more time here for this question? Favorite wrestlers?
Shawn Michaels is my number two. Moxley's my number one all day.
Mm-hmm.
That will never change until the day I pass. Harper is also probably up there. Kazarian, dude was a MVP, top tier MVP to to TNA. That dude's beyond loyal to his companies, and I think Frankie is always somebody who's just a super good and top tier guy. Sting's also there. I don't necessarily have Sting, Kazarian, AJ, Sean, Mox. I know it's my top two are Sean, Mox being a guy. And people like you're kind of a weak wrestling fan.
All right, sorry about that. Dogs chewing
No,
on.
I think I finally got everybody set up who will be a major name in TW.
Awesome.
It's a pretty big list. Lord Steven Regal's missing from here, but William Regal will be a pretty big name considering he'll host the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, that's a figure I'd like to get a Regal figure.
I have a Lord Steven Regal, and I just don't feel like changing the head or ordering a new head.
Steven
Yeah, Drew, Roman, Goldberg, Brody, Sting. I just got these Bucks and Omega. I just swapped the torsos on it.
Uh-huh.
This is the other Omega I got.
I think I have all the Omegas other than the Supreme. Nope. I don't have the green one.
I'm going to be getting a giant lot that comes with the Supreme, and I get the pink Kenny Omega with it. That's my one thing with figures that they have above WWE is it is mix and match whatever you want.
Right, that's huge.
I guess I'm just going to hold my phone up here. Yeah, I wasn't kidding, by the way. This is on top of the dresser.
Wow. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm hoping to get a table, though.
Right. I saw WSC used the whole bed frame, so.
Jesus. Right.
His arena is crazy. I hate the ramp, though. It looks so steep, but it looks insane.
Oh, the WrestleMania one?
Yeah.
I just watched that. I have just so many issues with that dream match. People want it cool. I just don't see a reason in it. I'm fine with us getting Rock versus Roman, but it would be the only time where I think I actually want Roman to win.
Yeah.
Because you've done all this work of having him squash everybody. He squashed a few legends even.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the point of having Rock show up just to be another clear indicator of, hey, old school is still, cooler than everybody else? And it would just be him winning for the sake of it's another, old school is still cool. And it's my point to where, like, weren't we just booing Goldberg for this? Weren't we just wanting Goldberg off of television for showing up and beating up new generation stars to send the message? Like, hey, old school's cool.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Goldberg.
I like Goldberg, just not now.
Right?
John Goldberg was great, but this era of Goldberg is a weird time. I forgot to put Stone Cold up here, but as you can tell, I kind of ran out of room.
Yeah.
The ring is stacked to the brim.
So, one of your storylines you said was John Moxley and Brody Lee. What are some of your favorite storylines? And you can do pick fed or in real life, whatever. But I just want to
Um,
go.
I loved the short period of Mox and MJF, but it's clear that they're going a second route with Mox, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Where we got the Regal turn just for, MJF to be like, um, I hated, and I guess I'll go the opposite direction just for a second here. I hated Punk with MJF.
Wow, really?
Yes, because the feud itself was a good idea, and it was delivered, I think, as best as you could deliver it. But the issue is MJF, and even though I love him and this other wrestler I'm about to name, MJF suffers to me from Shane Douglas syndrome.
How's
He
that?
can't go one sentence without cussing up a storm. And it's not that I even hate cussing. People use it well for the most part. But it's constant with MJF to where he can't rely on talking normally without just, having a sailor's mouth. That's my issue. You don't have as good of mic work as you say you do if you're not able to do that.
Hmm. Huh.
That's why with people like on the mic, Drew McIntyre is amazing. LA Knight is great. Kevin Owens is great. Cody is really good. Roman is eh. Sammy's great. Sammy's getting his own team to break character. That's some top tier work quality.
Right. So I got a lot more questions. We're kind of getting close to an hour here, but we'll go through it all. It's fine. So
That
anything
works.
else you want?
It's already good.
So a lot of pay-per-views. AEW has 4 a year. WWE has a million. What's some of your favorite pay-per-views of all time? Pay-per-view shows, pay-per-view matches, whatever.
Uh, I believe ECW won nice in 2005, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
The two, like one was with Peanut IVD, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that sounds right. I would call this a pay-per-view in my head, but the Dynamite where Punk got fathered by Moxley in 2 minutes. That was great to watch. I don't like Punk if you can't tell.
Right.
NXT Takeover 30, Walter versus Ilya Dragunov was just perfection. Clash at the Castle, other than the main event, which I'm still really annoyed at to this day, was good. Clash at the Castle put on some top tier matches. Sheamus versus Gunther is some of the best wrestling I have seen in a minute.
Right. That was great.
We're so used to this, just like one style of, hey, here's this group, we'll shove them down your throats, whether you like it or not. And I just enjoy seeing only them basically run TV, run both brands. You want to go watch 2.0? Cool, we'll give you nobody down there. Enjoy it there. I think I enjoy TNA shows every once in a while, but sometimes they're just wild.
Yeah. I think the
TNA is
last
a crazy place.
one I watched was with Kenny Omega faced Rich Swann or someone. I can't remember. I think that's the
That,
last.
that whole pay-per-view wasn't any better. That's why I hold Kenny Omega and Roman Reigns in the same boat. I view them as the two most overrated names to ever touch a wrestling ring. And I hold it there, man. I'm trying to think of any other pay-per-views here. Obviously WrestleMania. If you don't like WrestleMania, you're also weird.
Right.
Uh, I loved the idea of Cyber Sunday.
Hmm.
I think that was a great concept you could work with, which it gets the fans more involved. You have the crowd there now engaged, voting on what's going to happen, thinking they played a part in it. That, to me, that's how you draw an audience, and a lot of companies don't know how to do that anymore. WWE even struggles with it because at times Triple H, he's better, but he still messes up.
Uh-huh.
And I think AEW is just a cluster by this point. They used to be really good at it because the one thing AEW had over WWE is they get everything in. There's wrestling for anybody and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just probably some of my greatest shows and reasons why.
Alrighty, I got some more here. Do you have any tag teams? I know there's the Young Bucks. I don't know if you probably don't like them too much, but the Hardy Boys, Usos, New Day. What are some of your favorite tag teams?
Pride New Day was pretty good. I'd say when they were at their peak, they were extremely entertaining. Now they're just stale.
All right.
My favorite of all time will forever be DX, Shawn and Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That was peak entertainment. And you want to talk about like voices of the voiceless in wrestling? That was more Shawn and Hunter in the Attitude Era than anybody. They spoke for the fans. They acted for the fans. They basically were the voice of the fans.
Right.
If there was somebody they didn't like, they did it. The Usos, they could sit in a pile with Roman. They're being extremely overbooked right now. Street Profits at SummerSlam should have won.
Yeah.
That's at least my take, and that's my tag team. I think current day that I just love.
Street Profits.
Street Profits are so good. I hope if they ever put Montez in a single position, they still do something with Angelo Dawkins.
Uh-huh.
Because Dawkins is not bad in any way, shape, or form, but I feel like he's going to end up being pushed as the Marty Jannetty of the two, and I don't like that idea.
Right.
And I think if I had to go one more here, Red Dragon. And Red Dragon knows what they're doing. They know how to put on a good clinic. A dream match. I would love to see Red Dragon and FTR go at it.
Right.
FTR is up there. Arn and Tully, the Brainbusters. And I'd have to say the Shield when I actually enjoyed Roman Reigns on TV. He was quiet, didn't cut a promo.
Right. So I got here a huge pile of belts here. So what are some of your favorite championships, championship designs, championship win, and championship title reigns?
I think Mox's most recent one has to go up there. No, actually, no, the first title run. Right when they hit the COVID era.
Right, yeah.
Moxley took the entire company and put it on his back.
Right.
Moxley buried AEW, and it was to a extreme measure of like, why is nobody else able to do this? Somebody else should be able to help him out a little bit. My favorite design is the Attitude Era belt, the big, I think it's called the Big Eagle.
Yeah.
The giant, round one. I have it on Mox. I'm just too lazy to get up from my chair at the moment.
No, you're good. You're good.
The Boy Who Dream is another one that comes to mind again.
That title win, yeah.
Yeah, with Sean. I think Ilya Dragunov winning the NXT title was great. Another good design was the original NXT championship with the X. I think that was extremely unique. It was a little bit similar to the X Division title, or at least the X Division logo, but NXT, that's kind of what you're going to get out of it.
Exactly.
I think the WCW Cruiserweight title, when it was originally made, was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And the ROH tag titles are up there, too.
Alrighty. So, we're obviously collectors of figures. What are some of your favorite ones that you've had or that you wish you had?
Supreme Cody. That's great. I think at the end of the month, so I'm getting into the flipping and buying business part of figure collecting, and I'm about to buy this lot, and it comes with a Supreme Kenny that looks great.
Wow.
I can't say for sure. The Ilya Dragunov is really good. It feels really good in hand. And, if you get a figure like that, then obviously you're going to have a good time. Not a lot of people like him, but the Frankie Kazarian figure is well done. I think that really matches Frankie,
Yeah.
or at least Frankie at the time. They could have done the head sculpt with a little bit of a better expression. I wouldn't say Frankie's always that mad.
Right.
But there's one of them I like that you got right there in your setup. Cody. The TNT Cody is a really well-made figure, and it's a good tribute to a great wrestler. The Brody Lee figure, the only one that's available to everybody, in the gray, is extremely well made. I don't have any issues with it. 95% of AJ figures.
Yeah.
I think there's like one or two with a bad head scan here and there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Drew McIntyre figures, and a lot of the Shawns, because it's a good variety.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'd say those are my.
So there's been a lot of eras in wrestling. There's the PG era, the Attitude era, I can't even think of another one all of a sudden. But what's your favorite era of wrestling?
I think I kind of have an extended period of it, to where I kind of just mash two within the same decade,
Mm-hmm.
or two or three within the same decade. I think if you go from the new generation all the way till the Ruthless Aggression, it's when I could just really enjoy wrestling. I really knew, like, hey, there are these characters. Like, you had people like Scott Hall who oozed charisma and got the ability to get heat. And you don't get a whole lot of wrestlers like that anymore who have this ability to draw, sell, and put on matches that make you want to watch and make it seem believable as their character. Dean Malenko in WCW, for the 10 years that he was there, Dean put on clinic after clinic. Shawn Michaels is another one. I believe he is, to this day, the greatest in-ring performer of all time, with AJ being a close second.
Mm-hmm.
I think AJ's the Shawn of the generation, too.
I would agree on that.
Yeah, anything up until that point, I think I honestly just really loved. And it gave us the ability to see things we never thought we'd see before. Like, the reason I have them up there is the world's greatest tag team had a lot of potential. Haas and Benjamin were two really athletic, really well put together wrestlers, and a good idea of a tag team, which Team Angle was cool. It gave Kurt something to do. Kurt Angle's another one. Eddie Guerrero. It gave us some of our best. Around this time, Bobby Fish would have debuted, and Bobby Fish, to me, is Daniel Bryan before Daniel Bryan, and I know that's saying a lot. Bryan should also be in that pile. But Bobby was the original of, like, at least his generation. Bobby's the original technical guy. Bobby's really, and he's got a legitimate background. That's another thing. Not everybody makes it seem legitimate. It's like with Ilya Dragunov, which is why he's just one of my absolute favorites right now. Ilya goes in and he gives you 300% every match. Ilya gives you the absolute best. Dolph Ziggler makes it look like he actually just died. Brock Lesnar is an absolute beast. Moxley looks like he could legitimately snap your neck if he wants to. Bobby Fish, I'm sure, could knock my lights out.
Exactly.
But then there's people like Kenny Omega, and this is my thing. Everything is just so snug. A lot of the stuff is just really like, eh. Cody Rhodes is one of the few who, at least while he's on like the not athletic end and he's still kind of snug about it, Cody Rhodes, you could at least believe a bit more. Because he's able to tell a story with his matches, so you're able to, look past that and get into the enjoyable part of the matches with him.
Alrighty. So, what is your favorite part of pick fitting?
To tell my own stories, to be able to, it's under my control.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like I have a plan of Ilya versus Cesaro would be a good match for me to book. Ilya versus Bobby Fish, I would book well. Ilya versus Bryan. Like, you see, I can take this and I can match him up with anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
And nobody can tell me no.
Right.
Obviously, there's certain lines you don't cross, but that's a whole different thing. Like people having MJF, even though it's realistic. Somebody had MJF talk about Owen Hart in a feud with Brett,
Hmm.
which, let's be real, that's something MJF would absolutely say without a shadow. But it's just like, and it's the one thing that worries me is everybody here will freak out. You
Right.
know, it's because everybody is so concerned with a dead wrestler who has been already mourned over, already looked after, stuff like that.
Hmm. Alrighty, so there's a lot of new figures coming out. There's been a lot of um, showings of them. What are some that you are wanting to get?
Stunning Steve, most definitely the Elite 100 wave. That figure looks beautiful.
Hmm.
And definitely, there will be a TEW television title if that happens.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't. I don't really like that wave. I think the only reason I get any of those figures is for the accessories. The
I
Brahma
don't think it's
Bull
bad. I
title
just
is,
think it's underwhelming.
yeah,
Like it's a 100 series wave, and I think they just like, hey, let's put a lot of these big names into it. That should work.
yeah,
Honestly, Elite 101 looks a little more interesting. I'm a little
yeah, it
mad I
does.
didn't order that Supreme, or not Supreme, that AEW, not the Ultimate Edition Cody,
Yeah, that cloth jacket's crazy.
which I might just get that down the line. Like I said, if I'm getting into the buying and flipping business of figures, then I can
Right.
just absolutely eventually just pay for it down the line
Hmm.
and put that on the Supreme Cody.
Yeah, that'd look great.
There's the LPW.
Wow. Hey, what's up? Guess he's super bored.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So, what are I obviously probably bigger room. You want definitely want more room, but what are some things you want to change or add to your pick fed?
I don't think I'm ever going to really add a crowd just for the sake of I want TEW to genuinely stick with that indie style, like a little bit of a higher budget Ring of Honor look, like prime old school indie style, like nothing massive, at least until way down the line. That way, it looks like there's legitimate evolution in the company
Right?
or in the head.
That makes a lot of
Until
sense.
I got out of the house, I'm on my own. I'm still in high school. So, this is also just a time killer. This helps me get away from all the stress.
Right?
Uh, Another thing is obviously consistently updates. Like I said, if I get into this buying and flipping thing, consistently updated attires, new figures, added members to the roster, releasing some people from the roster, selling them.
Hmm. That'd be
Uh,
crazy. Just releasing a figure because you sold them.
Yeah. And as a whole, probably just higher edited and more attention to detail shows. Like, I don't know if you saw the post. I now have a friend who's going to be commentating.
I'd like to get a commentating partner, but I feel like it'd be so hard to edit.
Oh, it's going to be extremely hard. We don't know how we're going to voice record all of this, but hey, we'll do what we can.
I just do a voiceover on mine. It's pretty easy, but if they're not like with you, if your friend like lives close to you and can come over and record with you, it'd be so much easier. But
Yeah, that's the one part he does not.
yeah.
I think he's like miles upon miles away.
Alrighty, I think we kind of went over this earlier, but I'll skip that one. But what made you fall in love with wrestling? Was it seeing ECW for the first time, seeing WWE for the first time, going to a indie show, or what was it? What
So
was it?
the first time I'd watched WWE, and it was my dad who had originally retired, but my dad worked on the Indies for a bit.
Hmm.
He went as the new hotness, Todd Richards. Uh, and I think I didn't love it at first. I was a little kid when he did it. So, obviously I didn't understand. And I was like, hey, stop punching my dad. It's my dad, dude.
Right.
Um, but it was like a 2014 episode of SmackDown, so this would have been right after Seth turned heel.
Hmm.
Like he was brand new babyface, and I saw him versus I believe it was Rob Van Dam, and the match was like really good. And I was like, "Oh, hey, this is cool." And I started watching more and more. And to this day, I went back. I've watched literally everything and anything. I've even watched a lot of the territory stuff, which 95% of fans today have zero, and I mean zero clue about.
Right. I watched the Tales from the Territory. I've been watching that. It's really interesting. Just the way they lived, just crazy.
And Southpaw is pretty funny.
Right, right. Just fans now, they know what's going on. We know what's actually what it's about, but back then they think that's real. They're actually doing all that stuff on purpose, and they hate each other, and they go out there and try to kill one of the wrestlers. It's just crazy to think about now.
Exactly. Nobody knew, and that's what made it so good at the time. But
Yeah,
now it's online leaks. Everybody knows everything on what's
yeah,
going to happen, and it kind of just spoils the fun of wrestling now.
yeah. True, true. That is what we got to deal with now.
Yeah,
So,
because people can't take this offense.
all right. I try not to look online to what I don't look at what's going to happen. I like to see it
I
happen.
just stumble upon it. I don't even try, but it just happens, basically.
Yeah, you're just scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. You're like, this is what's going to happen on the next pay per view, blah, blah, blah. And it happens. And you're like, oh, fuck. I don't want to know
Like, oh,
that.
God. It's like, all right, watching this pay-per-view with minimal intentions.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff to like about pick fetting, but what are some things that you just absolutely hate doing when when you're doing your pick fed?
So time consuming. So time consuming. Oh my God. It takes hours upon hours upon just it's a pain. For me, since like I said, I'm at my dresser, I'm in my chair, and I have to stand and film.
Yeah,
So it
that's
doesn't have it like that doesn't help. It looks like are you at a desk of some sorts or like a table?
I got a ping pong table here. I'll scoot back a little.
Oh
But
yeah, that's perfect then for the idea of you can just have it displayed and then you can sit down in like an office chair or something and then just film away.
right. So I normally have to stand because I take my stuff like this, hold my phone like this, and I can't really sit down because just the way they look, it doesn't look good. I have to stand to get it in there, get a good picture and everything. But
I honestly kind of love that angle. I feel like it's just a tad bit more realistic, but what I aim it for is like right above the ropes
yeah,
to where it's like a normal cameraman sort of view.
yeah, because they'd be standing on the side or standing on the
Yeah,
floor or something. But
yeah.
yeah,
Even at aiming like right above the ropes.
yeah. The time it takes me about a whole day for one match.
Lord.
Crazy.
That's why I do highlights.
Yeah.
I'll just film the ending. I'll be like, all right.
And my matches aren't even extremely long. They come out to like 6 minutes or so. So like I want to do like over 300 photos and video clips per match. So and I do 3 matches a episode.
Yeah.
Plus I gotta do I do two
So
promos.
yeah, that's what I expected.
Hey, don't burn the house down while you're cooking AOPW. But thank you
Yeah.
for joining. But yeah, I do two promos, and I don't do I. It just sounds rude of me, but I hate when people just talk for the wrestlers. Like people
Yeah,
like
the voice is dumb. I do text.
yeah, like when you're doing pick fed, yeah, you could do text and stuff. But if you're doing stop motion and you're talking for them, it's just like, ugh, it's so cringe because
Yeah, the
everyone
voice stuff.
sounds the same. For
The
people that
one
are
thing
doing,
I would recommend, because I saw somebody starting to do it, is they use the voice changer copy or whatever it's called,
yeah,
and then they'll like take the voice of the wrestler and put it over. I'm like, now that's smart.
yeah,
That way at least it actually sounds like. Or with there was this really old, great level stop motion guy, JWS owner, I believe it was.
hmm
He would mix and mingle clips.
that's what I'm kind of doing. I'm just taking promos from actual wrestlers that they've done and throwing them into my pick fed.
Yeah, and making it like one coherent promo.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'd like to have voice actors like some of these big guys do, but that's costs money to have voice actors. But yeah,
Oh,
the time to
I don't.
do this is crazy long. I don't know how I even get anything out.
Oh yeah.
Especially when I have to work 40 hours a week and all that.
Oh yeah. And I have school and work,
Yeah, right.
and I got practice 3 days a week. So I'm like, oh my god, this page is still alive. Thank
Yeah,
God.
I don't recommend having a set scheduled. It's makes it so much more stressful because you're like, I got to get it out on this day, this time, every single other week, and it's just whew,
No, everybody who follows me knows they get what they get.
they get what they get, right?
They'll be lucky when they get the pay to be released. Like, enjoy what you can, man.
So one thing I want to get to do on this is get used the person's view. This community, I'd like to help. It's what this get to know the Fed's about. I'm trying to get people to know you, these smaller guys, even guys bigger than me, which is going to be some huge news later in the month. But what are some tips and tricks you would tell someone on that are trying to start their own Fed? What would you tell them to do?
Fishing line, first of all. If you
I
don't want to have your hands in any sort of view.
mhm. I never
Uh,
seem to get that. I can't do it. It's just so difficult for me to use the line
oh, it's difficult, but it helps a lot if you want to make it look like more,
realistically
like,
moving.
yeah, like raw, realistic. Um, I think as well, people just need, follow, beat to your own drum.
Mm-hmm.
Post when you are available to post. Do just everything you design your way. It's your show. That I think is the biggest reminder some of these people need. Some of these people try to fit the narrative of what, but hey, oh, who does everybody like right now? Who does everybody want to be in a Fed and want to be pushed? Like, just
Mm-hmm.
follow your own thing. I think maybe the most generic champion I have here is Moxley. But even then, that's just because I like John Moxley.
Right. Right.
That's not the sake of I don't like John, but I want him in my Fed and I want him as champion. For God's sakes, see it right there. I have Frank Kazarian. He's United States champion. That's my biggest thing is be able to just beat your own drum, be able to just do you and be entertaining. I think that's the simplest way I can put it.
Mm-hmm.
Release when you want to release shows. Um, nobody's going to obviously rush you because if you have those supporters are going to stick by you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is another thing is just don't stress yourself out.
Exactly.
It's time consuming, yes. Does it suck at times? Extremely.
I would just want to
But,
throw every figure I have sometimes.
oh yeah, so do I. Except for my really precious ones.
I'm surprised I haven't broke one because I just smash their heads into the table like, just damn you son of a. They just won't
That's
stay
my biggest thing,
standing.
though. Just be you. Don't. The one thing I have to the advice part is I don't know. I'm still learning myself. I'm still figuring myself out as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm still relatively new to this whole pathetic thing. Who all who all should be doing what isn't my fit, because you should genuinely do you. And I think that is the biggest piece of advice I can give you.
Well, that's not kind of the opposite of what I think, because I think what the fans want to see is something good. That's why I'm doing this social media thing where the fans get to vote who Cody faces, but I do the outcomes. But yeah, that beat of your own drum stuff is great. Did I lose you?
No, no, you're good.
Oh, you just turned the camera.
I have the idea to where people know me. They're like, hey, if you, they're going to tell me, hey, if you want to do this, I'll be like, yeah, we can do it on a joint show.
Right?
We can run stuff on a joint show, because it's, yes, while it's what the fans want to see, at the same time, like I said, that's the whole reason you should be pig fetting for you.
Mm-hmm.
It should be your idea to express your stories, to let people know, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you want to see it,
And kind of go off that, what would you tell to someone that's just now started how to grow their pig fed and get the followers and views that they're wanting to get?
I think the first thing is obviously patience.
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared. It will take a minute. But once it does, it will slowly start to be more and more lovely. And you will start to love the fact that you like, hey, be proud of yourself depending on how far you get. You know, not everybody gets super far every time. And that's my thing is, obviously, you got to share your own page. You got to be willing to harass people a little bit.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, follow me.
Right.
Or the one thing I hate is a follow for a follow thing. I'm like, don't do that. Don't be that guy.
I normally follow every person that's pig fed related or wrestling or that collects. If their page is just nothing or it's just them, I don't follow them. But if they got like some with figures in it, I'll follow them. Because this is my
Yeah,
pig fed. This is my pig fed page. I don't want to follow people just to follow them.
absolutely. I
But
kind of
yeah.
do both. There's certain things I guess I'm able to see on here because it's already thrown together an algorithm for my For You page
Mm-hmm.
that I wouldn't necessarily see on my other account, by the way. So I'm like a little bit of both. I get what you're saying, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think every pig fedder needs to get on Instagram. I started on Facebook, which I thought I did was doing pretty decent on. I got like 100 followers on there, and then it just doesn't grow after that. You just posted on. I have other pages that got like 500 followers on it because that was real wrestling. Had a backyard wrestling group. I had a page, and that had way more followers on it. And I share on that. I share my gaming one I used to do, and I share on my Facebook. Facebook is not that great unless you have. I mean, the Facebook groups are great. That's where I met some great pick fetters. But Instagram is where you have to be if you want to get a lot of followers and views. So I
Yeah,
grew to where
that's
I'm
where
at
everybody is.
just like that.
That's where it's everybody's already been for, years upon years. So everybody's just kind of used to it. If new guy joins, they'll be like, oh, hey, cool, another option.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate these. The one people I think of is like hardcore deathmatch people who will ruin these amazing figures.
Oh yeah, that just completely paint over them and make them ugly.
Yeah, it's I spent like that's probably not even their money. It's probably the parents' money.
Right.
Like you just threw away good work for hard money to create Mike Webster.
uh, I understand the basics, but still, that's unless they're not buying it, I would understand. But the basics you can paint, I don't. They're just ugly in general.
No,
So
yeah, they're cheap now.
then they're like, you can get them for like $5 or under online.
Exactly.
Go get those
And
ones and paint them
it's just
up.
like,
But if you're gonna spend $20 on brand new figures or old figures, it's just stupid to pin them up unless you get them for cheap.
Exactly. I'll customize, because that's a completely different situation.
Yeah,
You can swap
that's
it back.
completely different,
You can swap it back. There's going back. That's an option.
right? So a lot of these questions I think we already went over, so I can figure
Yeah.
out. So I'd like to talk about recent stuff. I think the most recent thing. What was the most recent thing? War Games? War Games, I think, was
Yeah.
the most recent big pay per view. What were your thoughts on that pay per view and just War Games in general?
We don't talk about Shotzi versus Ronda.
Yeah, I skipped that. I didn't watch it.
That
I
was
saw. I
terrible.
saw. I was like, yeah, no.
That's just god awful. Rollins should have held the title for a bit longer, but I'm not mad with Theory winning it.
Yeah.
Theory deserved that second chance that
Hmm.
Triple H started to give him. Damage Control should have defeated Team Bianca, in all honesty.
Yeah. Uh,
And I believe that leads us right to the War Game match, which Sammy turning heel got on my last nerve. I'm like, dear, because the bloodline is so heavily protected by plot armor. It's insane. Roman, within the past few pay-per-views, has now won by Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the Usos. Literally the entire bloodline. And people complain about the Undisputed Era doing the same thing.
yeah.
I don't get it. Wrestling fans are extremely hypocritical.
Right.
I'm happy War Games was here. That was a really fun thing to watch. The finish just annoys me, though, because it's people will get mad at the Reigns of Terror. And I'm sitting here looking at this Roman Reigns title run. I'm like, was Jeff Jarrett ruling TNA all that bad after doing something like this? And I don't know if you saw my giant rant post. It's Vince, and Vince started this whole thing. Obviously, Triple H has been taking the playbook and running with it.
Yeah.
The company lacks the ability to build new stars. Cesaro
Yeah.
should have been somebody who could have beaten Roman.
Right.
Drew at Clash at the Castle. That was his moment.
Mm-hmm.
We
think
don't
if they
even
don't,
talk about rules against Balor.
yeah, I don't think if they don't put Cody over Roman, I think he's gonna have. It's just gonna ruin him too, just like it did
Exactly.
Cesaro and
That's
everyone.
my code to my profile picture. I'm trying to manifest this. That was part of my rant. Like, this is it. They're not going to book Cross anytime soon, even though I love Cross. I think Cross deserves an IC or US title run first.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Elias up there because Elias is somebody who's actually over.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude had entire arenas chanting "Walk with Elias." For God's sakes, let's not even talk about. You want to talk about a real good deal? Elias literally got booed so loud he couldn't even talk in Seattle. He literally got him and Kevin Owens booed so loud he could not talk in Seattle. Meanwhile, Booga Woods, Booga Booga Spear. That's all I'm watching. The elite, even though, like I said, I don't like the elite as much as everybody else. At least they're switching it up. At least they're
Yeah.
entertaining. Nobody could have seen the elite coming out to a song by Kansas.
Right.
That was cool. That was a good build-up. This best of 7, this is good. This is how to keep people invested.
Yeah.
It's not only getting over Death Triangle, especially considering they beat the elite 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Because they won it all out and they won twice after.
Yeah. I was actually at that one in Indianapolis, which was great.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's at least with the elite, they're drawing some attention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some actually good attention. And I'm obviously one in a million when it comes to disliking Roman. Edge is another guy who should have, that's not building a new star, but that's somebody who deserved that one last title run a while ago.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing with Finn was completely idiotic, and that finish was completely dumb with the turnbuckle breaking.
Yeah.
And they haven't thrown anybody else since. And Cody's the one guy to where I'm like, hey, this is it. This is all we're gonna be able to get out of a solid top. Hello?
Sorry, I think you're cutting out there.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we're good. No, I just actually want to know if it's Cody's just that last major name though, who can really cut a promo, who can really go in the ring, who it would be so good to have him win the Royal Rumble, have him challenge, have him overcome the off, and have him just win the big one for once.
Right.
Especially considering he's the next Drew McIntyre. This is his comeback story.
Yep. Yep.
He's a lower card, big card name, for God's sakes, Stardust,
Sure.
to now being one of the heavily booked names on the roster, one of the most over names on the roster, who gave us 3 in a row, 3 5-star matches, and wrestled one with a torn arm.
Exactly.
And he never knew what was going to happen within those matches because Cody tells a story. This is one of the biggest things I think people forget in wrestling. Sorry, this is kind of a rant by this point.
You're
This is one
good.
of the biggest things people, I think, forget in wrestling. Being able to move around and do flippy stuff is not all you need to be a good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't need all of that to be. I think what it takes is to be able to tell a story, to be able to go enough in the ring into where it looks like it's actually happening, to be able to ooze that charisma, or to be able to, have that just flair and aggression in order to make it seem like you're really, you're really getting hit or you're really fighting to stay alive in this match. And Cody does that to me. Roman doesn't. Roman has the facial expression every time. He looks like stir fry. The French fries with goatee.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like stir fry. His facial expression never changed, except for when Sami Zayn was around. That's an issue to me. Kenny Omega, at least the difference between Roman and Omega, Kenny can lack charisma at times.
Yeah.
But he has it when he has people to play off it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gallows and Anderson when they were in AEW. The Young Bucks. Why did I just blank on his name? Don Callis.
Yeah. I love
Those are people he can play off of and he can at least be investing to. That's my issue. You're not over, but you're getting pushed to the moon, and I hate it. Those are the type of people I don't like. Somebody who should eventually be up in the AEW division? Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy is over like Rogan. I think the first really over guy out of all company or guys in all of the companies right now to really get booked to the top of their game while being over is the Acclaimed.
Mm-hmm.
The Acclaimed got over.
Yeah.
And it works. The Acclaimed draw every time. They turned Swerve and Our Glory, 2 people who really do lack charisma, into a top-tier feud. That's insane to me. Sorry, that was just something that when the question came up, I guess I just had to took with it and ran.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, I would normally end this with questions from the people watching, but it
But it doesn't
doesn't.
look like we're really here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're all good, man.
But hey, It was fun talking to you, dude. I
Heck
hope
yeah,
this
great.
video can get you some followers. So people
For you.
can check out your stuff. If you are reached to this point later, you've just watched an hour and a half worth of Alive, then you're the top of the top fans. But I don't really think anyone's going to watch an hour and a half live. But
Maybe they
it,
skip through. Maybe they get to this point.
yeah,
Where,
you can skip
I
to
mean,
the
that's,
end. But
that's for sure.
if you're here and you skip to the end, thank you. I appreciate it. The
Thank you for having
next,
me on, man. This was great.
yes, it's great. The next guest will be WWFF next week. I don't know if you know him or not. But
I believe I know him. Was that Claymore is dead or something like that?
I'm not a
I
100%.
believe he went by Claymore is undead or something. I might be thinking of somebody else, but still, that should be good. All right, I won't leave you any longer, man.
But yeah,
You have a
thanks,
great
man.
day. Thank you for having me on again. This was great to be able to just, get on here and express a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right. See
Good
you.
rest of your day.
Bye.